Welcome back. On our interview segment, the Director General of the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, Dr. Anthony Anuforom, is our guest. The first question Aviation This Week posed to him is how the agency is delivering on the mandate of advising government on matters related to weather and climate. Take a listen.
How we do that is we observe weather, and to do that we use instruments and equipment based on the data we collect from the fields, because we have over 50 locations from where we monitor weather across Nigeria. Based on the data we collect, we produce forecasts and predictions. That is basically what we do.
How do you get involved in aviation?
It's not getting involved. We are part of the action of aviation. You cannot achieve aviation safety without accurate and timely weather information. It is known that worldwide, up to 30 to 35% of aviation accidents and incidents are weather related. That is to say that it is either weather is the sole causative factor or is a contributing factor to aviation accidents and incidents. So if you are able to give the pilot accurate and timely weather information, then he can take better decisions, because the aircrafts are designed to withstand weather, and the pilot is trained to know what to do under various weather conditions. But what is important is that he has to be armed with that information ahead of time. That is why we call it weather forecast, for the purposes of achieving aviation safety.
How do you ensure that the information you give out, that pilots comply with this?
You know that in aviation, we have division of labor, as it were. Ours is to generate the weather information. And there are two ways to communicate. The airline is required to visit our forecast office. Part of their procedure prior to flight operation is that they should visit the NIMET pilot briefing room, where this information from the forecast office is communicated to them and discussed with the forecaster and meteorologists that are on duty. The other way we pass it is through the air traffic controller, because once the pilot is in the cockpit, it is the air traffic controller that communicates with him. So we work very closely with NAMA. If you go out there, you see that the consoles, the monitors we have in our forecast office are duplicated even in the air traffic, in the control tower. Apart from that, there are procedures and protocols on how we communicate this weather information. And of course, every operation we do, including production of the forecast, the way it is packaged, the way it is communicated, are in accordance with ICAO convention. ICAO Annex 3 is about provision of meteorological weather, aeronautical meteorological information.
Does weather change from the ground to the sky? Or why do you have your equipment in the control tower?
The consoles are just like computer screens. The actual sensors are out there in the field along the runway. That is where the sensors are. So what you have in the control tower is the display. All right. Now, talking about weather changing, of course, the weather is the dynamics, the atmospheric phenomena. Weather does change, of course, either from place to place or from level to level. And indeed, that is why we have facilities even for monitoring weather at different levels.
NIMET has installed some equipment across airports in Nigeria, like the Doppler weather radar and the low-level wind shear alert system at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport. Tell us exactly what these equipment are for.
You mentioned Doppler weather radar. For Doppler weather radar, for instance, prior to, that is by July 2011, there was none anywhere in the country. There was zero. So, but by 2013, we have acquired 6 of them 2 we had installed. Work is ongoing and has been ongoing in Yola and Maiduguri. But you know, the security challenges, that has been a very, very big setback for us in completion of that, because the company installing it is not a Nigerian company, it's an American company, and you know the challenges we are facing. That notwithstanding, there is also another very important equipment that we have procured and installed, and that is what we call the wind shear alert system. Wind shear is one of the most deadly phenomena that are hazardous to aircrafts, especially when they occur during takeoff or landing. Indeed, some of the 1 or 2 accidents in Nigeria have been attributed to wind shear. So prior to that time, there was only one wind shear alert system, and that time means July 2011, only one wind shear alert system here in Abuja. By the end of December, we now have wind shear alert systems in 9 airports. That's a lot of progress. Upper air monitoring equipment, you asked me about the weather near the surface of the earth and up there. We have a technique we call upper air sounding. Prior to now, we had only 5 upper air stations. That is 5 locations from where we can monitor what is happening at different heights in the atmosphere. By December 2011, we've moved from 5 in July to 8 as it is presently. Thunderstorm detectors. Prior to 2011, we had 6. By December 2013, we had 20. Integrated aviation weather observing systems. These are the systems, these are the equipment that monitors the precise weather condition around the runway. All right? We had it prior to 2011, 5 of them, but by December 2013, 15 of them. So this is the kind of progress we have made.
The Weather Research Center is where we're seated right now. What role does this center play?
This is where all the information is being processed. This is where we pull together all the data we collect from across the country, build them up into weather forecasts. In addition, of course, to the specific weather forecasts at our airports, we have one in Lagos Airport, Ikeja Airport, one in Abuja, one in Kano, and one in Port Harcourt, the 4 international airports. Each of them has a forecast office. They are in communication. Now, we also conduct research into different aspects. One of the projects that we are presently implementing is a computing center infrastructure, where we are going to install very powerful computers for an aspect we call numeric weather prediction. That is based on models and computer programs. You can model and generate weather forecasts. It's called numeric weather prediction. What you see on CNN and BBC, all those weather channels, they're actually products of computer models. We should be able to do that in Nigeria, and that's where we are heading to. We've started numeric weather prediction, but at a rudimentary level. When the computer center infrastructure comes on board later this year, then we'll have better capability to do that. We're also installing an effective communication system for pulling our weather data in a timely manner and from our synoptic stations across the country. That project is also ongoing. So that is why we call here the Weather Research Center. We are setting up a library here. So you can see that it's technology, so you have to be up and doing. You do not slide into obsolescence. And so all these are contributing to accuracy of our weather forecasts. And I need to tell you this. What gives us comfort that we are doing it right is that with all this effort, the International Organization of Standards have audited our programs and processes and have certified NIMET products as being of international standards. I'm talking about the ISO 9001. Next month, we are going to have a review, because part of the process is that every year they have to come to make sure that that thing they certified is still the way it is. It gives us comfort, and it should also give Nigerians assurance that indeed we are doing it right. You probably know that Nigeria is one of the few African countries, I think 1 out of 5 or 6 African countries, that the ICAO has adjudged and certified that we are above global standards in terms of aviation safety.
Why is the Harmattan season especially a time where weather advisory is usually issued?
During the Harmattan season, we have influx of dust from Sahara Desert, because at this time of the year, the whole of Nigeria is under the influence of the northeasterly wind. The northeasterly wind blows across the continental, it's a continental air mass across the Sahara Desert, blowing in dust into the country. And when these dust particles come into the atmosphere, they tend to reduce visibility. And visibility is a critical factor in safety of aircraft operation. So during Harmattan, therefore, we have reduced visibility, and we often advise pilots to please pay attention to the visibility information we are passing to you.
You recently did something called the EMET with the marine sector, and something like that is ongoing in the aviation sector. Can you tell us about this?
EMET is actually a homegrown, as it were, our own local product to automate exchange of information between our forecast office and the control tower. So we call it EMET. It's one of the areas where we really have done a lot of work. It was installed in a limited number of stations prior to 2011, but now we have populated virtually all airports in Nigeria with the EMET. It's actually a software that automates that. Coming to the marine. Now, the marine sector is one of the sectors. Remember, you rehearsed the NIMET mandate. It talks about providing services for all sectors of the economy. Marine sector is one of the areas where weather is an important issue. Ocean-going vessels, oil rigs, and all those activities, economic activities around the coastal area of Nigeria are weather dependent, or at least affected by weather. So prior to now, we were not sufficiently robust in that area, and we have started to move in. Very recently, just last month, we installed a marine weather buoy, the first of its kind in Nigeria.
Sir, tell us about your plans for the future.
Looking at the future, we want to make Nigeria a hub. That is part of the target we are aiming at in the Aviation Master Plan. If you look at the position of Nigeria, it's a natural hub, but we are yet to actualize that. If we succeed in doing that, it means that we have more aircraft coming into Nigeria. We have to give the international community confidence that the weather information they're getting from NIMET is reliable for them to operate into Nigeria and for Nigeria to be a hub.